Hi everyone. So today we are going to create a basic app registration in Entra ID. This is the starting point whenever you want an application to use Microsoft Identity for authentication, whether it's a web app, API, or even an automation script. We'll keep this pretty simple and let's go straight to the portal. I'm in the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. From here, we'll go to app registrations under Entra ID. This is where we define applications that will use Entra ID for authentication. Now you create a new registration. First, the name. This is just a display name. We'll call it a demo app for now. Next is supported account types. For most internal apps, we'll select accounts in the organizational directory only. That is single tenant, this tenant specifically. If you're building a multi-tenant SaaS app, you would choose the multi-tenant option instead. Or if you are to allow personal accounts, you can choose that accordingly. Then we have redirect URI. This is required for web applications. It's the endpoint where Entra ID sends the authentication response after login. After the user is logged in, there needs to be a URI where Entra ID can send back the user to your application. So this is the redirect URI. For now, I'll leave it blank. Since this is just a demo, you can select the platform, can select this, for example, and just register. Once created successfully, we land on the overview page. Here you'll see two very important values, that is application ID, client ID, and directory ID. That's the tenant ID. The client ID uniquely identifies the application, while the tenant ID identifies your organization or your tenant. These two values are used when configuring authentication in your application code. Now let's take a look at certificates and secrets. If your application needs to authenticate using a client secret, you create it here. I'll click new client secret. You define the description for this. Some demo client secret. And you define the expiration period. Let's say, yeah, that's the recommended for 180 days. After creating it, the secret value is shown only once. It won't be shown again. And you have to copy it and store it securely. In production environments, using certificates is more secure than client secrets. Now let's take a look at API permissions. This is where you define what this application is allowed to access. For example, if this app needs to read users from Microsoft Graph, you would add the appropriate permissions here. Permission can be delegated, that's on behalf of user, or application, that's app only access. After adding permissions, admin consent may be required depending upon the scope of the permission. So you can just add one of the permission here. We just add an application permission and we'll search for user.read under user. Yeah, so this will basically give a permission to read all the user's profile. Add permissions, right? And here, see, now default admin consent is required. You can click on this. That's it. Here's how you can remove the permission, and you can go and grant admin consent. Yes. Yeah. Now the admin consent has been granted. One important thing to understand here is when you create an app registration, Entra ID also creates a corresponding enterprise application, also known as a service principal inside your tenant. The app registration defines the application globally. The enterprise application represents its instance in your tenant. So this is our name of the app, demo app. So if we go to enterprise apps, And this is the demo app that we created. It this this is the enterprise application. We'll explore the difference between enterprise application and application in another video. So that's the basic process of creating an app registration in Entra ID. This is the foundation for enabling authentication, API access, and integrations. In future videos, I'll go deeper into permissions, authentication flows, and real world scenarios. So then, thanks for watching. And if you have any doubts, questions, feel free to leave them in the comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe.